Welcome back to another episode. Today, it's going to be me and Dave Little pulling at a loose thread in the tattoo world, if you like. And that loose thread is the current state of social media. You see, these days, half the industry seems to have decided that they'd rather be influencers than tattooers, while the rest of us just feel pressured to create entertaining content. Everybody's chasing that viral hit, do the gimmick, hit the trend. But somewhere along the way, the actual tattooing gets treated like a party trick. And that makes genuine representation in the tattoo community even more crucial, as far as I'm concerned. And look, for me, a tattoo isn't content. It's something that's going on somebody's arm or their ribs or their leg or whatever. But it's part of their life. It's part of their story. And it deserves, I think, better than being treated like a bloody prop in a 15-minute advert or a dance routine, So we're simply asking, where's the authenticity gone? Are we still making art for real people or just feeding the algorithm? Can you play the game without selling your soul? Or are we all just dancing for somebody else's dopamine hit? But we're not here to moan. I think by now you'll have figured out I'm a solutions person, and that's what we're looking for, solutions. So where's the line? How do you stay honest without losing yourself? And is there space for honest work in a circus of attention grabs? Anyway, that's enough for me. Let's get into it. I'm joined by Dave. He's in Malden in Essex, which I think Essex is the place you have fucking acid on your cornflakes, isn't it? Sorry, Essex.
Yeah.
I didn't mean it. And we were just talking about the relative joys of having a home life and a family versus running a studio. So tell me about your journey so far through studio, getting to where you are, because you're at the Good Life Tattoo Parlour now on the High Street, aren't you?
Yes, we are, yeah. So before me and my co-owner Sam opened the studio we're in now, I had a little, I know it's very anti-tattoo and it's controversial, but I had a little private setup before that. Of all places, it was in a garden centre, which madness, but it was perfect. It was a really good introduction to kind of studio ownership because it was the responsibility was a little bit more limited than a high street,
Yeah.
And it was good because you had to kind of work. You're talking about that little shop you had at the back of a barber shop. It was a similar vibe to me. I had to work when the work was there, had to push as much as I could on social media, had to, do all the additional stuff other than tattooing to get that kind of the knowledge out there. The studio was there,
Yeah, me too. Exactly the same thing.
Yeah, so I had a second room that was in my studio at the time, and I put out an advert for someone to come and work there. And I was lucky because I could be quite picky about it. And Sam was another local artist to me who was going through a process of leaving the studio he was in. And I know his work's brilliant. He does a lot of realism, colour realism, black and grey realism. I do more traditional kind of, I like doing geometric art, doing lines and stuff like that.
Currently, poor old Sam, probably on his 400th lion with a crown and blue eyes this year.
Yeah, no. He's had some good ones recently, to be fair.
Good for him.
He started a Stephen Gerrard tattoo the other day that was pretty
nice.
Cool. A Liverpool leg sleeves, that was pretty big. But yeah, but he messaged me about coming to work at my old place, but was really honest about it and said it would only be short term. He was planning on setting up a private place of his own, maybe from home or something like that. And he went through a bit of a difficult departure from his last studio. There was just a few things that needed sorting out and stuff like that. And whilst that was going on, he messaged me and said, look, I found a place in Malden. Do you want to come and take a look at it and see if we can maybe make it work together? And I came and found the studio. I live in Malden, so it's literally a 3-minute walk from my house.
Oh,
so
amazing.
Already a bonus. But the place we'd found was really nice. So he'd given me no kind of reasons to doubt his kind of integrity or he'd been very honest with me right from the very off. And I just took the plunge of it. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Why not?
Yeah.
And we've been in here since May, and we've had our first we've got for our first summer.
Yeah.
Mental first summer. And to be honest, the winter's shaping up to be really busy as well, which is really nice to sort of see. So
good news. So, I mean, it's funny that you talk about the started in a garden centre, and I've fucking started in the back of a barber shop, but realistically, I think if you sat a load of tattooists down and went, where did you start? Truthfully, no cameras rolling, I think you'd find that's the more common story. We sort of have to just start how we start and figure it the hell out,
Yeah. I mean, I started off in a street shop. That was where I first of all started.
There you go.
It was in a street shop. It was doing walk-ins and stuff like that. So I already had the kind of foundation there.
Yeah.
The opportunity arose to open some on my own, and because of where it was in that garden centre, it was like, well, I can dip my toe, and if it don't work, it don't work.
There you go.
Whatever.
So you did an apprenticeship in a street shop?
Yeah.
So you did nothing that fit outside the ring of a coffee cup and all that sort of thing, all the kind of straight
pretty
line.
much. Yeah, pretty
The
much.
lesson today is put a straight line round an orange.
I must admit, I never got that. Yeah.
Have a go. I tell you what, it's solid putting a straight fucking line round an orange in one go.
Are shaped like oranges.
I think it's something, right, that they should have at tattoo conventions.
Yeah, they should. That's a proper award.
Yeah, I think everybody should bring their apprentice, and we should have a My Apprentice is Better Than Your Apprentice Olympics. We should have a timed tearing of paper towels, so whoever can do a full roll of plenty into a perfect stack in the shortest amount of time. We should do it like Squid Game, but with tattooing. Do you know what I mean? We won't kill them. Obviously, we won't kill them. They'll be knocked out. And I think stuff like that would be really good fun. And they always want different entertainment at conventions.
Yeah, that would
be better. I always think, it happened to me at one convention, just for the tattooists only, they had your shittest tattoo contest, but it was only for tattooists, because we get the worst tattoos, because we want to watch, so we use our own body as a learning thing.
Amazing.
But, and I think for tattoo conventions, that would make them more about community. We need to start learning to laugh at ourselves a little bit and not take ourselves quite so seriously,
Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. Yeah, I think take the work seriously, of course, but we're none of us are celebrities.
The last couple of conversations I've been having, we've been saying that the TV era gave tattooists the impression that we're cool. And I'm like, the last thing that tattooists are is fucking cool. We're a bunch of art nerds. You know what I mean?
We are. I've never met a tattooist who is not a nerd.
Yeah, exactly. The end result of what we do is fucking cool. But we're not cool.
Should be, man. That's what it should be. It's when you let the cool kids in, that's when it all went to pot.
Yeah, but do you know what? I also think, though, because I think when I got into tattooing, like 20 years ago now, I think I probably would have been classified as one of them cool kids. And there was a lot of people kind of coming in. Nico had brought his DVD out about colour realism, and all of a sudden everybody can do colour realism and stuff like that. And it was around the time that colour realism really came big. I think New School was really massive at the time as well. So there was a lot of big name artists doing that. And we would have been sort of written off a little bit. And I think that with any influx of people, there'll always be 80% of them won't be here next year. Right? But there'll be 20% of them that have really got their heart in the right place and really want to do it for the right reasons. And now they might come in through the wrong fucking door, but if they've got anything about them, they'll figure that out and they'll start doing it really well. And after a while, that won't matter. If the cool kids are coming in and they got a different vibe, how will that affect the overall culture of tattooing? The biggest thing for me that I see is that what we're getting in tattooing at the moment is like YouTuber influencer type culture coming in. Yeah. And everybody's worried about doing viral videos when all we need to do is show people the work you did today. Do you know what I mean? Because that's really all it should be about. I did this for this person and they're really happy with it, and that's that. But at the moment, to get any traction and to go viral or whatever, you have to, hi guys, don't forget to like and subscribe and all that fucking cobblers.
You have to do a funny dance or something.
Funny dance, your whole fucking studio's lit with pink and blue LEDs and all that business. And I'm like, fuck off. I'm maybe a little bit more aware of it because I picked up a camera and started filming 10 years ago. There was a few people, I wasn't the first person for certain, there was a few people filming stuff, but back in the day, I'd seen Casey Neistat skateboarding around New York and filming, and I thought, I do quite a bit of travelling, I'll take a camera with me onto the conventions and have a bit of that. Turns out, I'm not Casey Neistat, I'm fucking no good at that sort of stuff. But I think because I've been filming for about 10 years, I'm bored of it. I've got absolutely no interest in filming tattoo content whatsoever. That's why the podcast is audio, because I think when you put the cameras in, everybody starts performing. But if you take them away, everybody's just chatting as if they're on the phone. Yeah. And I think that the conversations become more real. That's why I've stopped filming, is because my focus is on my artwork, right? And I've only got so many hours in the day, and setting up cameras and lighting and all that bollocks is just not something that I think is worth it. When I can just talk to you, why not do it that way? And so I think some of them kids will be that, unless more and more of the tattooists get really despondent and leave. The way to stop that is we've got to stop slagging each other off. Like I was saying to you about, I saw somebody referring to themselves as an iPad tattooist, like that was a bad thing. I'm like, what, you're a tattooist that just uses the most modern tool to draw with? What the fuck? Why is that a thumbs down kind of thing? You know, what, you got to draw on like greaseproof paper still with a blue and red pen? I mean, you can if you want to, because there's nobody stopping you. But it does. If you use an iPad, I don't know.
If you still tattoo it shit, it don't make a difference.
There you go. Right. I don't understand why we've got to be telling. I use coils. I use rotaries. Well, you're shit then. You've got a dildo pen. Like, okay, well, you've got a Victorian doorbell, so fuck off. Like, why are we doing that to each other? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't care what fucking tattoo machine you use. You can use a knife and fork if you want. I mean, if you can get if the end result is amazing, what does it matter?
Yeah, mate, you're right. Definitely.
We're supposed to be professional artists. I don't know, because I'm not a massive historian, but I imagine that Michelangelo and Da Vinci didn't stand around arguing about what the fucking whose paintbrush is the best.
Who's got the bigger paintbrush?
Do you know what I mean? It strikes me as a very odd situation that we're in. But like another thing that you mentioned, I'd like to get your take on it, is the gatekeepers. What's your thought on people gatekeeping our industry? Because, you know, gatekeeping will get you cancelled. Tattooing's for everybody, you know.
Yeah, I think gatekeeping's necessary. I think it needs to be in place. If you didn't have people trying to kind of stop the gates from opening, you end up in a situation where we've got, like you're talking about, all these schools opening up. You know, you need to have custodians of it, looking after it. Yes, the people before us did it, and did quite a good job of it. And it's just we've gradually got worse and worse and worse at doing it. And like you're saying, we're now focused on arguing amongst ourselves rather than trying to just preserve the quality. More than anything else, it's just quality in it. That's all you want to keep.
I think that's all it is. You know, to be honest with you, I mean, for me, the gatekeepers, I think we do need them, because for the tattoo schools, for instance, I think that when they were doing that, there should have been a professional body that they should have had to join, or some sort of union. Yeah. Now, we can't get involved in affecting their business, but also we could have made a point of saying, well, I don't think this is going to really do the industry much good. And, you know, and it's the fact that as artists, or the current custodians of the world of tattooing, we just get completely ignored by these companies and go, they're such idiots, and like too busy arguing about, you know, whether you can use more than 4 colours and really be a proper trad artist and things. Oh, well, I think it's 5 colours. Well, I think it's 7. Like, who cares? Right? There's a million colours. Use them. But we're too busy worrying about that, when what we should be worrying about is, hang on a minute, what the fuck are you doing? I'm going to open 100 shops or something. And I'm like, have you spoken to the union?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But there isn't a union that I can find. There's about 5 unions in this country, and they all seem to be about like getting a sticker for a tenner a year or something. I don't fucking know. They don't seem to do anything.
Could you imagine trying to get a group of tattooists, like in a large group, to kind of come together and bring that? Do you know what I mean? Though that's the thing. It requires people to have sensible conversations, which I think is a trick.
A chimp's tea party or a piss up in a brewery. I know we don't agree about a lot of stuff, but most of the arguments I see online seem to be about semantics. Really, it's about descriptions and about the correct wording for this. I don't care if you want to call yourself a tattooist, a tattoo artist, or a tattooer. All the fucking same to me. You know, you can make a distinction if you want to. We all understand the distinction. I know the historical distinction of it, but realistically, I don't mind if you use them the wrong way round, or you use one. It makes no odds. Like, do you hold a tattoo machine and make artwork, and is it nice and clean and good? Yes. Okay. Well, then you're whatever you want to describe yourself as.
Maybe we're just reflecting the wider society. Maybe we're just mirroring it.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't surprise me if the madness in our industry has to do with like some of the madness we see around the world, because I think I stopped watching the news about 4 years ago because I just can't cope. Do you lean mostly into trad?
I like doing trad the most, I would say.
Yeah. Why do you like doing it the most?
I don't know, really. I love the heritage of it. There's something about the history of it that fascinates me.
My son is really fascinated by all of that. I think that's the part that draws you in.
Yeah, I think initially that's what starts it, and then you kind of go from there. I think, like I said, my background was in a street shop. And I was taught that if I could do a fundamentally good traditional tattoo, I could lend my hand to most things.
Absolutely.
You've got the fundamentals of though colour traditional. You could, there's routes you can go down from there. But yeah, I just fell in love with that style. But to be fair, like now, I'm kind of a little different in how, sort of certainly how I present myself on social media. So, a few years ago, we were told that in order to get a good following and likes and follows and all that bollocks, we had to have like a profile with all the same style and all the same, and all very thematic all the way through it. And I just can't be asked to do that. If I had the thought of doing the same thing every day, for me personally, it's just, I couldn't do that. So I've tried to sort of lend my hand to a few different styles, to be fair, and try and learn as much as I can about stuff, using the fundamentals out of traditional, but trying to branch out into other bits and pieces. And
has doing that changed your interaction on Instagram at all?
No, really.
Exactly. Right. So I had exactly the same thing for a long time because I'm quite an insecure person, right? So when you give me a place where I have to put all my work, I'm a bit OCD. I wanted everything to be nice and neat and tidy, and curated. All my tattoos were done in threes, so they were all nice and tidy and all that sort of stuff. And a couple of years ago, I just started, do you know what? I did that, just leave it where it is, leave it on the grid, leave that on the grid, leave that on the grid. And we just post stuff now. And it's like, I painted some guitars this year for the Fuel Girls. So we threw those videos up because it was a fun project to do, and like, I'm always going to do better if you got photos of scantily clad women on your Instagram. It's always going to do better than fucking pictures of me, isn't it? And to be fair, I don't blame anybody. But then we put up the podcast stuff and we put up all the other stuff. It's not curated now. It just is what it is. And I haven't noticed any difference. If anything, actually, it's gone up because I think people like to know about a little bit about the person behind the tattoos and what you do and all that sort of stuff. 100%. I'm quite private, to be honest with you. I don't like to share a lot of my life. I've spent a lot of time talking to cameras and doing this kind of stuff. And so there are bits where I go, that's fine. Everybody knows how I feel about certain topics, but that doesn't mean you get to come to a barbecue at my house or something, or like, I don't really want you to walk around the lake with me, and stuff like that. In fact, I think that's where all that kind of social media hopefully will go, and it'll all calm down a bit, and it can all be a little bit more authentic without trying to be forced authentic. I'm a tattooist and I make these, this is my artwork and this is what I do, and I don't need to juggle for you. Or, you don't need to worry what fucking haircut I've got and stuff like that. I think I'd like to see us get back to that because I think that would be better.
I think a lot of like these artists sort of shoot themselves in the foot a bit as well when they're doing like the kind of keeping it all the same and doing the same, everything's, like you're talking about being all the same style and looking very neat and tidy. Like I see a few artists local to me that are really struggling to fill their books, like really struggling. And they've been quite open about it. They've admitted it on their socials that they're struggling at the minute. But every tattoo they do is large scale, whatever it might be. The way I look at it, like, okay, yeah, I can do a nice large, sleeve or whatever. But if someone comes in and they want a little name tattooed and I post, that opens me up because people don't see it. They don't know if you do it.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It seems like a weird, I think I can't be bothered with that.
It's funny you say that. I have that conversation with a lot of people because I actually love doing little tattoos because I've spent most of my career in tattooing doing very large scale pieces just because my average customer is male, about 38, no tattoos. They come in, they go, I love your work, I want to get a full sleeve and over my chest and that. So I've always got all these big pieces. But you're absolutely right, because all I posted for years was really big pieces. People think, well, I only want a bit of writing. And I'll happily do it. I do hourly rate tattooing if people want me to. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be day rate. It's like you can fucking get a tattoo off me that takes an hour if you want one. You just got to ask. But people don't ask because you don't show them that you do it. Yeah. So they think, well, he won't do it because he must have a waiting list that's a year long. Look at all his beautifully photographed tattoos.
Which is all right to have if you have got a year waiting list.
But if you haven't, you're fucking yourself up, aren't you? Because you're making yourself look like you've got a year's waiting list when you can get somebody in next week.
Yeah.
But then everybody gets too scared to go, I've got space next week. Because then they go, oh, everybody's going to know I'm quiet. And it's like, you've got a business. If you are quiet, you need to tell people.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, It's like when nobody puts the kind of prices online. And I'm like, man, the prices used to be on the flash as you walked in the door. You knew what you was going to pay. Do you know what I mean?
I've sort of told one of the young ladies who've got working in here, she's a brilliant artist, but she's 22, I think she is. So she's a young lady. She's, and she does really lovely fine line work. Her fine line is really, really lovely. But I said to her, like, when you post your designs, just stick a price on them and just commit to that price.
Yeah, just commit to it.
People will book it. If they know what they're paying for, they've not got the awkward thing of having to ask you how much something is. You've not got the awkward thing of trying to, kind of be, it might be 2, might be 3 hours or whatever. Just commit to the price you've got. You're doing what you want to do. Like, that makes sense to incentivize it a little bit,
I mean, when I started doing it, because I wasn't sure whether I was a fast tattooist or a slow tattooist, because I was like, well, I'm about the same speed as my mates, but to be fair, I don't know if they're fast or slow. I don't know. What I used to do for people, because nobody likes to say, oh, it's a bit expensive, I can't afford it, because it embarrasses people, right? Because they feel bad, right? They shouldn't do, but it does, right? It's just the way it is. So it's much better, I think, to go, no matter how long it takes, I'll charge you 150 quid. And I just commit to a fixed price. And then if you put prices on your artwork, get this design for 200 quid, 300 quid, whatever it is, the person knows there and then, if you want that, it costs that. Yeah. They don't have to have an awkward conversation. And if you're committed to that price, you can get it done.
It's what I do it all the time.
Yeah, why not? I mean, at the end of the day, we're in a weird kind of global, like, not recession, but like there's a cost of living crisis. Everything's a bit too expensive, and none of us have had a fucking pay rise for 10 years. I think it makes absolute sense to just go, that's my day rate, that's what I charge, that's how much it's going to cost you. Yeah. If you can afford it, you can afford it. If you can't, you can save up, and then you will be able to afford it. Or, and I tell people all the time, look, you don't have to sit all day. Because I get a lot of people that are concerned about, God, I can't do 6 hours of tattooing. I'm like, all right, sit for 3 then. Oh, do you do half days? I'm like, yeah, if you fucking want. And I tell them all the time, the only reason I get people to sit for 6 hours is I can get more done in 6 hours than 2 lots of 3, if you know what I mean. Because they've got to set up and all that sort of business. But I'm like, it's not that much more expensive if you want to do it 3 hours at a time. It's always just kind of working with people, isn't it? Some people don't want to sit with somebody jabbing fucking needles in them and talking bollocks at them for 6 hours,
Yeah, I imagine a few of my customers feel like that, to be fair.
No, most of my customers probably feel like that,
But I think the problem is that you were talking earlier about the influencer culture and stuff. Like, they've kind of sold this dream of pretending that they're earning, millions of pounds or 6 figures or whatever, driving around in flash motors. And like, the reality is none of us are really doing that. We can make a good living, don't get me wrong, but it comes with a lot of work. If you're selling tattooing as just being for money, you're not going to win, are you?
You're missing the point of tattooing if you just think it's about the money. And
I think a lot of these, the tattoo schools and the kids coming through them, they're going to realise that really quickly. That once they're out of that and they're trying to then whatever they're doing, they're going to realise actually you need to genuinely love this before you can start making any money. You need to love it before you can even start earning the smallest amounts. And then when you get to that point where you are earning a living, you're well within the throes of the passion of it. You are just spending your evenings drawing and doodling and stuff.
Also, I don't know if it was for you, but learning to tattoo was quite possibly one of the most frustrating fucking things I've ever done.
Yeah, it was basically anxiety for 2 years.
Yeah.
Every single tattoo, it was like, so when I was learning, I was working full time and then working evenings and weekends in the studio I was in. And I remember I would have full days of just complete anxiety about doing a fucking like tiny little semicolon or some shit, like something like, easy walk-ins you do now. But at the time it was massive. It was a massive hurdle to overcome. Generally, a lot of stuff don't really stress me out now. And I think that's why. I think I've just exposed myself enough to it.
I've had a reminder literally today where I've started about 3 weeks ago. I lined out a massive fucking leg piece. The whole leg piece is I kind of nicked an idea off Jason Butcher that he was doing years ago, where he was doing these huge scaled pieces.
Yeah.
And so a client came to me who's got a couple of sleeves that I've done. He was something about Star Wars. And I was like, yeah, I can probably do that. So what we ended up with was a shot of Darth Vader from one of the many movie posters that are out there. But we've scaled it so big that it's like almost like an abstract black thing until you see the fact that there's a Darth Vader helmet at the top of it. And I was chatting to my client today. He went, fucking hell, Paul, you seem like you're really having to concentrate on this. I was like, mate, I didn't realise when I've kind of marked it, I just bloodlined everything. Not bloodline. I did use the lightest grey wash that I've got.
A grey line.
Yeah, grey line, basically. I don't know if that's a term. Maybe it is a term, or maybe I've just invented it. Paul Talbot, grey line tattoo, TM. But because it was one of those things, I've had to double line a lot of stuff because there's inversions and all kinds of stuff going on. It basically looks like a fucking map of the Alps, this thing does. And I'm looking at the image. The image is printed on A4, but this thing's his entire leg. It's like fucking A2. So I'm having to work out where I am on the map. I'm like, I'm currently on the coast of Norway trying to work out whether it's white or black. And I said to him, I haven't been this stressed about whether I colour it black or leave it skin since the last time I did a bit of Celtic knot work, which was always the most stress-inducing fucking thing I ever did. Over, under, over, under, over, under, over, over. Oh, shit! Not over, over.
We'll just shade that out. Put
a bit of shading on that. Put a bit of shading on that one. But you know what I mean? It's like, if you can't live through that section of it, imagine you're getting into this just to like dance on a fucking car's bonnet or something, and then all of a sudden you've got to do a piece of artwork that's that fucking stressful. And, you're not going to be into it, are you?
No, I mean, if there was a law passed, right, where they banned tattooing or you couldn't make money tattooing, I'd still tattoo. I still tattoo because I enjoy tattooing.
Yeah, exactly. With the tattoo chain stores that are opening, and the fact that, and I don't know if you've had it down by you, but like for a while there was fucking companies selling tattoo ink in the local shopping malls and fucking stuff like that. I think we might have already gone too far down that road for us to save that.
I'm inclined to agree with you, I think.
But what we can save is the true culture of tattooing, like the real tattooing. And so what you might end up with is all of us are working buzzer entry, like you got to know a guy who knows a guy, or you got to know how to get in touch, and it's a different vibe and a different deal. And that other stuff, they basically become the Claire's accessories of tattooing.
Like a tier system.
It was already going that way by the time I got here. Like, I'm like sort of post-TV tattoo generation anyway. Miami Ink had already happened, and all that sort of stuff. So I'm probably, like I said earlier, I would have been probably, here they come, the fucking cool black t-shirt kids fucking with their art fucking backgrounds and all that business. But that's why I think that, because there was lots of us and there's only a few of us still doing it, right? And I think that the in every new scene and new influx, you will find that there will be a few people that go, no, I'm really here. I know I come in the wrong door, but I'm here for the right reasons and I love it. And what we ought to be doing as an industry, I think, or as an art form, if you fucking must, saying to people, don't do that, like, come to us. But at the moment, I don't know about for you, because, I mean, you've done it more recently than I have. Like, how easy is it to get an apprenticeship, do you think?
So I initially got into tattooing when I was 17, right? I got my first tattoo done at 17 and I fell in love with it from that. I can remember the exact moment I thought that's what I want to do. I got into a studio. I was so green and naive. I didn't realise that there was no kind of way of learning. There was no kind of accredited thing. The guy who I was learning from, I quickly realised was not a good tattooist at all. He booked a load of work on me. I had to have it all redone. I left after 3 months. But I kept my foot in tattooing. I still loved drawing. I still went to conventions. I still hung around in shops, got tattooed in shops. And it was only because I got tattooed in this shop regularly and I was kind of friends with one of the artists already that they said, well, come in and have a chat. And because I was still drawing in my own time, I've done enough to warrant, I mean, looking back, fuck knows how I got the apprenticeship, to be honest, because I wouldn't have given it to me. But it was a case of who you know. So I do get what people say, like, it is hard to get into, but as you said, it needs to be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It needs to be difficult. And if you do get lucky, like I feel like I was quite fortunate, then you get lucky, but you need the talent there as well. You need to, or at least the drive or the ambition to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think my thing, if you could look at it and go, I just manipulated a situation. I'd already made art. I just knew some mates that did tattoos and went, show me how to do that. Do you know what I mean? Show me how to do it then. And then I was a pain in the fucking arse. And honestly, if it hadn't have been for it was my friends, I think any studio would have gone, just fuck off and do one. The attitude of the people that are wanting the apprenticeships is what the problem is. Like, you've walked in and gone, do you know what? I'm blagging my way in. Fuck it. If you got to mop the floor, I'll mop the floor because I blagged my way through the door. And I did the same at my mate's shops. They were like, you've got to do that. And I'm like, oh, fucking hell, he's doing me a favour. I'll mop the floor of his shop for him. And so I always saw that as like, well, you teach me, I'll do that. Do you need me to put the kettle on? Fuck it, I'll put the kettle on.
Yeah.
And maybe the guys are coming in are going, well, no, I want to be tattooing on day one. And it's
That's
like,
right. Yeah, 100%. That's what it is.
you know, and it's like, sorry, no, you can't. Well, what am I going to put on my Instagram tonight? Well, fuck all.
Yeah. I mean, I when I first went in, like, I think probably what did actually kind of keep me there was because I was over the guy's shoulder all day. If I was in there on a Saturday or a Sunday or whatever, I used to get, my back used to hurt because I was stood there for 6 or 7 hours, stood up. There was no, it was things like that, silly little things. But like, if I wasn't doing that, I was going home and I was drawing every night. I was drawing all the time. And I think, like, looking back, that's probably what did kind of keep me there till I got to a point where I could do a tattoo.
You weren't sitting there going, when are you going to get me an appointment? You've only been an apprentice for 2 hours. When do I get my first full back piece in then?
Yeah.
In 5 years. You know. But is that the current generation are a bunch of entitled wankers, which I don't believe? Is Instagram convincing people that they're abject failures if they're not on the first million by 25? You know what I mean? And maybe that's why they think there's so much of a time running. It's like, I'm going to run out of time if I don't tattoo straight away. And they're convinced by the world that everybody's doing this much sooner. And the truth of it is, actually, nobody's doing that. They're just making it all up.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, to be fair. Like, we've got 2 young ladies that work in here. Liv, who we've got in here, like I said, she's in her 20s, does lovely work. We've had conversations that she's sometimes frustrated that she's, you know, having to kind of dig for work a little bit more. She's having to post a little bit more availability and stuff like that. It's trying to sort of sit her down and say, like, me and Sam are busy because we've been doing it for long enough to be busy. It doesn't just happen. You grind at it over time. And she's good. We're quite fortunate to have her and Maddie. They want to do it the right way, but they're 100%. They're under so much pressure, more than what we had, or more than I had, definitely. I just wanted to tattoo. I wasn't sure it was going on Instagram or not. Just wanted to do a tattoo.
Yeah, you know? I mean, my daughter's 24. And I talked to her quite a bit about it. The only reason I don't think she's pressing it is she grew up in a tattoo studio with her old man. So she's seen it all. She's seen me arguing with sponsors and doing all the fucking, like, having to run the shop and all that sort of business. So, like, she's kind of grown up around it. And she understands. She's watched me, you know, kind of, okay, I've got to put stuff up. But also she's watched me go, I'm fucked if I'm making content if I've got fuck all to say. I'm not going to just make some shit up. She's a lot more savvy with that stuff than I am. I think I understand it, but I also understand it to a point where I go, I'm only doing it if it benefits me, because I don't see the point of this. Like, I won't do it if it doesn't benefit me in some way. It's like, apparently I've got a TikTok, but I've never even had it on my phone.
Yeah, I post to TikTok, but I've never actually. I've looked on TikTok probably once, and it was just too much for me.
Dude, that's one more time than I have. My wife started a TikTok for me and said, "You've got TikTok." I went, "Great, you can fucking deal with it then, because that's not my problem." Because I've got no interest in all that doom scrolling bollocks.
I'll ask if my missus can run my TikTok for me. That would be great.
Karen's really good at that, because she runs the Instagram for the podcast. And she does quite a bit on my Instagram for me, because I'm tattooing all day and I'll go, can you just post up them pictures from last week for me? And she'll throw them up and everything. And all I have to remember to do now, we got a folder that we put in a Dropbox that allows us to share, you know, pictures in, and I put the captions in, and then, like, so that I've got them when I want to post them. And then I'll just say to her, I don't care about the order, just put them up how you want. A few years ago, I'd have been, oh no, that one goes first, that's got to be the middle one on the grid, and that's got to be that one. I fucking don't bother with any of that anymore, to be honest with you. Because I think it's almost, when you talk to younger people, it's seen as almost inauthentic that it's too curated like that. I was talking to somebody who was 16 the other day, and they was telling me that posting on your grid, if you're 16, is sad.
Right.
Like, they only post on the story, and Instagram is a messaging app. Like, if you've got anything on your grid, you're a saddo. And I'm like, I've got loads of pictures on my grid. Does that make me sad? And I think it was like, no, it's all right for you because you're old. And I'm like, oh, right, and fucking thanks. That's still an insult, though. Although it is true. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I think social media is massive for for tattooing. Like the amount of customers I get, they've come across me word of mouth, whatever, but it's like a portfolio. It's like it's easier than uploading it to a website.
Oh, mate, yeah.
It's instant, isn't it? I just don't get why you wouldn't use it. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's like
the two biggest ones that I find, I think, where the two biggest growth things are, we've been experimenting with this over the last sort of 12 months, because for all my talk of this, I'm forever fucking experimenting with it because I'm just interested in how it works. I get the most organic reach out of my stories and from my broadcast channel. I've got a new website that I'm working on, for instance. I posted the other night to say, look, I'm working on it section by section. There's a couple of sections there. Go and have a look, see what you think. Every client I spoke to, go, oh yeah, I saw that. And on the actual story, I get way more people commenting. I get so many more comments because I started sharing the stupid, funny shit that is in my Instagram, because my daughter occasionally will flick through my Instagram and go, where the fuck do you find this stuff? I've been in the fucking bottom third of the internet for a couple of decades now. You know, the shit I'm looking at, like, it ain't on the top page of Google, mate. You know, I'm well past that. I get loads of messages going, that's brilliant. Where did you find that? I'm like, I don't know. It just keeps coming up on my Instagram. I just follow a lot of weird shit. You know,
like, my algorithm's warped.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think I might have sent my algorithm slightly fucking mental or something, because it's like, why the fuck does he want to like look at that stuff? But my sort of ADD brain goes, how does a bonsai grow? And I want to find out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like, what happens if you put orange juice in a soda stream? Does it explode or what? What happens what does happen if you put an egg in a microwave? I'm one of them sort of people. And then I go, oh, everybody would be interested in this. I'll put it on my story and annoy everyone. And then I get loads of nice messages. Well, maybe that's the future of it. I mean, I don't know if anybody then goes and looks at any of my tattoos, but it's a bit hard to track that at this point because, like you say, once you've been doing it for a while, it's kind of like a snowball going down an hill. And after a while, it just takes care of itself, doesn't it? But it takes a lot of effort to get the ball moving. But once you've got it moving, it's got that motion. So that's the way I've always explained it to the guys when I've been teaching them. I was like, imagine you got a bat and a ball. It takes a lot of effort to get the ball in the air with the bat. But once the ball's in the air, it's very little effort to keep the thing bouncing at the same height. So all you've got to do is think of social media like that. You've got to spend a lot of time getting people to see it. But once you've got people there, all you've got to do then is remember why they're there and show them that stuff, you know. I don't know. I mean, like, the other thing that you mentioned to me is this culture shift that, you know, when you feel like when you come into it, the artist felt really unique and everything. Yeah. And it was a bit weird and anti-establishment. Do you think we'll ever get that back? Will we ever be anti-establishment ever again, or are we now the establishment?
No, I think it's like caveats, right? So it's not anti-establishment anymore because we've got everyone's coming and getting tattooed. You know, I tattoo every type of person through the door. And because you get that, it kind of takes a little bit of the anti-establishment kind of rebellious fringe sort of side out of it. I think you still get characters. I do think you still get characters. I feel like my studio's got quite a good dynamic of 4 personalities that are all uniquely different in their own way. And I think that's quite entertaining for customers.
As a for instance, literally today, I'd told people, and I won't repeat the word on air because it's rude, but I was explaining to somebody about how words change over time, and that there is a piece of slang that was commonly used in guitar shops in the 80s when I was a kid to refer to guitars made in Japan that is an incredibly offensive way to refer to a Japanese person. Then what happened was, somebody said, if that's offensive, how do you refer to the hole in the end of your willy? At which point, one of the guys, Jay, who's one of the tattooists in my shop, went, is that not its real name? I went, it's not fucking medical, Jay. Right? So then we were like, well, what is its real name? The best we could come up with was dick hole. And so as my daughter's friends are walking through, like, we're talking about, it can't be a fucking dick hole, can it? So somebody then, like, I think it was my daughter's fucking Googled it to stop us talking about it and gone, it's called the urethra mendi or something like that. And I'm like, okay, thanks, Bab. She was like, now stop talking about dick holes and shut the door on us. And I'm like, that's just Sunday in the tattoo shop, isn't it?
Yeah, it's what it should be. Their studios, they should be entertaining for their customers as well. It's not just, it's a whole thing, isn't it? You know?
I laugh with them all the time. My customers will be cracking up at these conversations. I'm like, you think this is funny? I've fucking got to come back here tomorrow. Sam, one of the tattooists who work in the shop, he tattoos from time to time. His autism means that it's complicated to be a full-time tattooer. Okay. So he's just been fucking helping a mate of his out, and he said, you know, like there's rougher language in here than there is on a building site currently. I went, does that mean that we're really piratey, or that have builders got woke? And then we have a whole conversation about woke builders. Can you imagine it? Can you imagine if White Man Van got really woke? And it's like, that's going to ruin the world. But that's the stuff that makes a studio to me. Yeah. You know, so I mean, from my point of view, I don't think that's changed very much from when I was going into tattoo studios in the late 80s.
No.
And so if you can do it shop by shop, if people like you and me go, I want to work in the kind of shop where you can have a great laugh and make fucking great artwork, then we'll still have tattoo studios that might look different, they're probably cleaner, don't smell of fucking Dettol, because I'm so glad that shit has gone. Do you use that for stencils?
No, not stenciling. No, not stenciling.
You use it for cleaning?
We do like to use it for cleaning the floor.
Oh, you absolute filthy bastard. I hate that smell.
Do you
fucking
know what?
Hell.
It's one of those ones where you do it and the customers, I get loads of people like, I love the smell of clean. That's what they say.
Do you know what it is for me? Right, to everyone else, that's the smell of clean. But I grew up like on touring. So to me, that is the smell of venues in the morning, of fag ends, vomit and Dettol. And I hate the smell of it. I'm like, it just reminds me of like loading the gear in at 10 o'clock in a venue where the floors are sticky and they're trying to Dettol all the vomit out the loo. And I'm like, this is fucking grim in here.
You are the first person I've ever met who's triggered by Dettol, to be fair.
All the guys in the shop hate it because they all love it. They all love it.
Pass it all on to them.
No, they fucking love the smell of Dettol. And they were like, can we not clean the shop with that? It's the smell of clean. I'm like, it's the smell of puke and fag ends. Like, what are we doing? And honestly, it actually, the smell of it makes me angry.
Makes you violent.
Makes me violent. It triggers me. I'm like, so now I go to be, you know, because I'm trying to be modern and everything. I go, you can't use it. It triggers me. It's my PTSD. You know, I'm not going to get away with it forever. I love for me, the smell of tattooing is the smell of green soap. You know, the Costco green soap.
Yeah, Costco. I've got it out there. Costco green soap. Yeah, it's the
fucking brilliant. Do you use tattoo film? You know, there's like Dermalize and the sticky films. Do you use them?
I've used it for a little while. Got to the point where I reckon if I was doing 5 tattoos and used it, at least one of them would come back with some sort of rash.
Because I found this out recently, there is a chemical in green soap that reacts with the glue in the plastic. If you don't use green soap on the tattoo, they won't get the rash. Actually, a guy told me about this. I was in Berlin at Aftercare Company, and it's the actual film. It must be the latex or the glue or something in the film reacts with the green soap. So
we do an Aftercare brand here, Ink Doctor. They're quite good.
You can mention them. I've got no sponsors on the show.
Okay, yeah,
that's fine.
They're a decent brand. It's a nice aftercare butter that they do. Yeah, so we sell that. But I kind of came away, before I was sponsored by them, I started using sort of more kind of body butters and lotions anyway. I came away from Bepanthen and Savlon and all of that stuff. But yeah, it's cling film in, wash it when the cling film after a couple of hours, wash the tattoo, just start creaming it from that point. Don't over cream it, which nobody knows what that means, but...
No, that's the only thing I have to do. I could say, imagine the smallest amount that you could possibly put on it and then halve it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's probably still too much. I mean, for me, it's always been, I think for at least the last 15 years, it's been H2 Ocean all the way. It literally smells of the stuff that's in it, which some people like, some people don't. Because I think sometimes with Bepanthen, the thing that was good about Bepanthen, you can't really fuck it up, can you?
No.
Like you can put that on like butter on toast.
It's horrendous stuff for Bepanthen, man.
Yeah.
It's like, for me, it's sensory overload of putting that on. Like, it's just the greasiness of it.
I hated it. Absolutely hated it.
I would rather dry heal a tattoo than use that.
Yeah.
So now we've got products that are actually decent. It's quite nice. Do you know what I mean?
You know, but there you go. That's progress that works, right? All we've got to do is try and work out how, from the tattoo artist end of it, how do we get progress that works because not everything's bad. You know what I mean? Like all our machines are dead straight now. You know, they're fucking run to destruction. You don't really have to tune them or do anything with them. Pre-dispersed ink. I mean, there must be at least one generation, if not 2 generations of tattooists who've never made a needle now. You know, because pre-made needles have got to be around for a couple of generations of tattooists by now.
I must confess, I tried it once and I was fucking shit at it.
I see. Well, I'm good at soldering. I'm absolutely fine with a bit of fucking soldering, but like, fuck, that's the fiddliest fucking job on earth. I've installed mixing desks, mate, with like 30-pin Elco connectors on the fucking back of the desk, and I still think making a 9 mag is fucking harder. That's the kind of thing that, I guess that's tattoo culture, the tinkerer culture, isn't it? As we get to the place where nobody's made a needle, nobody's ever mixed any ink, do we lose a little bit of that tinkerer mentality of like, well, couldn't we make it better? Or do we just end up waiting for somebody else to come along and make it better for us? Because most of the advances in tattooing have been driven by the actual artists just making it for themselves.
Yeah.
I'm literally next year, I'm learning to weld because I'm so fucking sick of armrests. They're shit. At the moment, I've got 3 armrests that I've basically fucking jerry-rigged together because I think all armrests are absolute dog shit. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to make my own.
My big thing is the fucking couches. Because I'm 6'1", right?
Right, okay.
My business partner's 6'2", maybe. Being tall, it's uncomfortable for us to sit and tattoo. We're riddled with neck and back issues because of it.
Yeah.
I would love to have a couch that I can stand up and tattoo. That comes up with decent and it's actually safe to use. That's not.
I think the closest you'll get is a plinth. Have you seen them?
That's what I've used plinths before.
Yeah.
But they're fine and dandy until the electrics go on them.
Get the hydraulics.
The hydraulic one. Yeah, I mean that's an option for us. But even then, I still don't think they go up. I don't know how high they go, but I mean
they'll go so that you could tattoo the middle of somebody's back standing. You might need to sit on a stool to do the lower back.
Yeah.
But like standing, you'd be reaching at 6'1". If I put the plinth right up, you'd be reaching to get to the shoulders.
Yeah.
They're definitely worth having a look at. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because it's something we both, like, I was watching a video that some dude I found on Instagram who he'd got one of these electric standing desk things. He's got like an old massage table, like stuck it on it and just started using that. And it's like, that's all fun and games until someone falls off it because it's not what it's built for.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the fucking liability claim. Yeah, I've got Tatsol stuff and, that they don't even go half the height of the plinth. I think that's the only thing.
We've got Tatsol here.
Yeah, I love them. I've used mine for about 12 years now, and it's fucking great. But it wouldn't go that high. But the two of the guys in the shop I've bought plinths for, and they definitely go high enough. But I ended up with 2 Tatsols because the 2 girls that were working in the shop, when I had 2 girls working with me, they couldn't reach over the plinth because it's pretty deep, and obviously the girls got boobs and everything gets in the way and everything. It's access and all that. So the Tatsols work better for them. And I personally like to sit quite close to the tattoo when I'm working. So. For me, the Tatsol works a little bit better. So I'm going to ask the 2 questions that I ask everybody. What do you think is the worst thing about tattooing right now? What's the fucking thing that's grinding your gears that we need to get fixed? The
influencer culture.
Yeah,
I think we need to come away from it. Stop giving credence to influencers who are shilling it. Effectively, they're shilling it, and they're taking advantage of people's naivety, people's sort of dream think, and it's creating a situation now where if they're going to continue doing these, the tattoo schools and all the other stuff, they're sort of promoting a lifestyle that's not accurate to how it is. You're going to lead to people coming into the industry for the wrong reasons. They're then not going to do good tattoos, and then I think the bigger picture of that is the general public, the clients, are going to lose faith in tattooing, and then end up in a situation when we're all sort of potentially fucked because they don't know if the standard of work they're going into a studio to get is going to be good or not because there's just so much it's all convoluted, I'd go as far as to say, do we really need people reacting to videos of us doing tattoos? What's all that about? Like here's so-and-so doing a tattoo and then somebody's telling you how good or bad it is. That to me is like low effort content and it's not worth anything. Well, it is low effort content.
And that's part of the problem is that if you can make that kind of content, you can make an entire fucking thing out of it. What are we doing?
Are you getting money for it or not?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we got to stop sitting around with our hand out going, I'm a tattooist, so I deserve free shit. Like most tradespeople buy their tools. Right? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, what?
It's true.
You know what I mean? Buy your fucking tools.
I don't know many builders that are sponsored by DeWalt.
Right, exactly. Like how many people are walking around with like Makita t-shirts on, builders and all that business? They're not, are they? Oh, you get like the DeWalt builders in the car park fighting with the Makita builders over like, I'm team green, fuck you, man, I'm team yellow. I don't know. I don't think we should eradicate it, but I think we should have another conversation. Because again, in tattooing, it's kind of grown up out of, let's do that. And then everybody's kind of jumped on it and it's turned into something it wasn't designed to be. And I think maybe we need to start having a few more conversations about what these things are and what's the value exchange between artist and sponsor, or what is the value to the industry for somebody to sit there and go, oh, I'm going to watch somebody do a tattoo. It's like, well, why don't I just go and watch the fucking bloke's video and make my own mind up? Like, to me, that seems a bit, it just seems a bit weird. And I think we need to have more conversations about that, about where have we found ourselves in the, the kind of exhaust fumes of tattoo television. It kind of blew up, didn't it, in the afterburn. And then you go, well, hold on a minute, like, is that where we want to leave it? Can we just go, well, maybe we need to have a new conversation about this, about what is all this about? Like I say, I think working with companies is great, but I've always been very careful to establish the relationships well before we do any you send me some shit and I'll do some stuff for you. I like to spend a bit of time with them instead. And I don't know if younger people just rush into it because to be a sponsored artist is a big deal. Yeah, and the kind of it had the same thing with the awards, wasn't it? If you won an award back in the day, it was a big deal. But now my fucking dog's an award-winning tattooist, and so it's become nothing now. It doesn't mean anything. Every fucker on planet Earth is a multi-award-winning tattooist. So, like, it's just become a sort of default. It's like when they start, you can pay to have a blue tick. So, like, everybody's got a fucking blue tick now, and so it don't mean nothing anymore. Nobody wants a blue tick anymore. No. And so I always think, like, with that, you have to kind of have to reinvent it and all that sort of stuff. And so I think you're right. We need to get rid of all that internet-y culture out of what we do, because tattooing doesn't happen on the internet. Tattooing happens in studios, doesn't it? It happens in the real world. And what do you reckon then, on the back of that, because I like to leave it on a positive note, what's the best fucking thing about tattooing?
I think for me, it is the studios. It is the studios. It's if you go into a studio where the vibe's really good and you've got interesting people coming together, like you're saying, creating artwork together, having a bit of banter. I think that's the bit I love about it. Like, I don't get Monday morning blues. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm coming into work with a bunch of nutters, really, who are all good fun.
Who are your best mates? Yeah,
it is good fun, and I meet, all my customers are good people. They're all good human beings. I'm very lucky that I've got a good client base that then leads to better. When they then refer people to me, they're good people as well. So I think it's just, if you've got good studios with good cultures in them and good characters, that's the best thing. That's what I love most. Yeah,
and that for me is the centre, because I'm asking this question a lot at the moment about what is tattoo culture then? Like, if tattooing is a culture, what is it? Because a lot of people are talking about it being eroded, but when I say to them, okay, so which bit of tattoo culture is eroding? What is tattoo culture? Everybody's a bit like, what do you mean? I went, well, what is tattoo culture then? And I think the centre of tattoo culture is two things. It's the shops, where we all hang out, and you go and, there's the shop that's fucking full of taxidermy that you go, what the fuck is this? I mean, it's just, and that's the people's personalities, right? And you go in another shop, looks like a fucking spaceship, and you're like, okay, fine. I've been in one that looked like a fucking, like an 80s arcade, but they got beds instead of Space Invaders. I was like, this is fucking mad in here. But it was like the people. I don't like the ones that look like a shit River Island. It's like they've almost got how to do a urban, funky tattoo studio kit, and they've kind of bought it all in, and that's the shit I don't like. That looks like gentrification to me, that does. I kind of look at it and go, yeah, you probably shouldn't just put pallet wood on your walls anymore, because it's just not cool now. It hasn't been cool since Berlin in the 90s, mate. Pack it in. And have you got anything else?
But anything else I love about tattooing?
No, I mean, just anything about tattooing generally that you think, because we'll kind of leave everybody with a thought for the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do it because you love doing it. Do it because you're passionate about doing it, rather than trying to seek money or Instagram fame or whatever. Just do it because you love sitting and drawing of an evening. Because if you love sitting and drawing of an evening, you go to work and earn money doing it. It's not work, is it?
No, it's not. It's never work. I think that's the best advice anybody can give. Do it because you love it. And I don't know about you, but I think for anybody that loves it, if you start doing it because you love it, the money will follow. The money is actually a byproduct of just doing something that you really love.
Yeah.
And then you find yourself in that lovely position where you make a nice living, you can afford to do all the things that you want, and you're doing something that you'd literally do for fuck all.
Yeah.
You know, because it's your passion and you'd love doing it, you know. Because I know if somebody stopped me from tattooing tomorrow and I couldn't charge for it, I'd still be tattooing for free. I'd just have to go and get fucking one of them things called a job. I mean, which I don't, I've managed to get this far by avoiding doing that. So I'm not entirely certain that I'm employable at this point, you know. Dave, thank you so much for joining me. It's been absolutely fucking brilliant. All right, mate.
It's been a pleasure, mate.
I'll see you soon. Thanks, mate.
See you, dude.
Find out more at paulfuckingtalbot.com.